Hi Libra, welcome back to my channel, Karma Fox. I am doing your monthly reading for March. I hope everybody's well. I'm going to start, Libra, with your current energy, and then we're going to look at March week by week all the way to the end of March. As always, don't force yourself into a reading that's not for you, but you might want to jot down a few things since we're going 4 weeks into advance. And the beauty of tarot is if you don't like where the energy's going, you can affect that energy. Remember, you're always in control. Spirit, can I have the energy of the sign of Libra? What would you like Libra to know for March? All right, Libra, you're starting out with the Ace of Pentacles, and it is crossed by the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. So you've got some kind of a brand new beginning. This could be an influx of money. Your money may have been very unbalanced. If so, I do see an influx of money coming in for you. But I'm also seeing this could be like a new beginning, a stable new beginning in a situation that maybe you were dealing with somebody who was being a little selfish in some manner, or, you know, perhaps you were. There's something to do with instability that, and it's affecting this new beginning. So let's see the past. Let me see why. Yeah, two of Wands. You may be dealing with somebody who lives at a distance, but you don't have to be. So, yeah, this is a plan for a new beginning. That's why I'm seeing that. There's a plan for a new beginning, and this could be with somebody who maybe breadcrumbed you, or somebody who there was an unequal give and take in the connection. Let me see why all this is happening. There's somebody making plans for a new beginning. Oh dear. We have the Devil. Now, you could just be dealing with a Capricorn, but that's toxic energy. It's also, now that's the negative side of it. Let's look at the positive side of it. It could be somebody that you feel a very, very strong attraction to, but it's been an unbalanced situation. So we'll clarify that. So let's see what's on your mind, Libra. Show me what's on Libra's mind. What's Libra thinking about? All right, we have the Hermit in reverse. So you may be thinking about somebody who ghosted you. It would likely be this person who also breadcrumbed and is now possibly at a distance, but definitely at an emotional distance, and planning this new beginning here. What I also see is that you may have had communication with somebody that you had a break with. There's a sense here, though, that you feel that you found the answers to something that you've been looking for. You did a lot of soul searching. You were thinking about things for quite some time, and now you found the answers that you were searching for. So let me see March. Show me March for Libra. All right, we have the Nine of Swords. All right, so you go into March, and there's a sense here of you worrying about finances, worrying about money, or worried about a connection that has been unbalanced, or possibly both. Let me see how you're showing up. There's a lot of anxiety as you enter into March. There's a lot of anxiety, sleepless nights, worry, and concern. Let me see, show me how Libra's showing up. The Star card. You're showing up here as emotionally balanced. You're healing from something, though. And that's likely where you were looking for answers. Show me the energy coming towards Libra. You could have another air sign coming towards you. This would be a Gemini, another Libra, or an Aquarius. But somebody is wondering if you're open to talking. Are you open to communicating with them? Or are you just going to cut their head off? They're highly focused on you. Show me, but they also feel like you have stepped into your power. All right, so in Spirit's advice, we have the Five of Pentacles, so there's going to be advice with regard to loss, financial loss possibly, and I do see some of that in your energy. And I also see that there may be advice with regard to loss of, you know, a connection here. So there will be advice on that, so that's good. Let's see your outcome at the end of March for Libra. All right, 10 of Wands. Now, don't stress, Libra, because, again, it could be that this is setting up the base so that we can figure out what the outcome of all these problems are. This does indicate problems, but it also indicates the end of a cycle here. A cycle of feeling overwhelmed, a cycle of feeling overwhelmed, burdened, having to carry too much. So don't stress, because it doesn't mean that March is going to end that way. We'll find when we clarify what the deal is with that. It could just be advice that that's the setup in order to give us the end. Wow, bottom of the deck is the Ace of Cups. Oof, that's new love. That's new love right there, and that's underlying all of this. Now, this could be you pouring love into yourself, which I always recommend, but it also indicates, the possibility of new love in your life. So let's clarify your reading, because we see money coming in, we see new love coming in, but yet we also see all this anxiety and feelings of overwhelmment. So let's get to the bottom of it. Spirit, why is the Ace of Pentacles here for Libra? All right, yeah, so some of you have had a really painful experience with regard to another person. You may feel this person betrayed you. Well, I got news. This person is planning to come back into your energy. This person may have kind of turned their back on you. They could have been trying to make a decision that it could have even been a decision between you and someone else, or you and another situation. And you feel that this person turned their back on you, but they're planning to come into your energy here. I definitely feel like there was an imbalance in this connection. Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah, they may have been not offering any kind of commitment here. I'm definitely seeing, again, that there could be some issues with regard to your finances and money. That does look like it is going to resolve, but it's a painful experience that's causing a lot of anxiety for you right now. I definitely see that. For some of you, there could have been some kind of loss of like business or loss of a job, perhaps. But your money's not where you want it to be right now. Yeah, and it's painful. Let me see why this Two of Pentacles is here. The Emperor in the reverse. Whoever this is that you're dealing with, you had a very painful ending. You felt this person betrayed you, and it does look like they did. I do feel like this person is making plans to move towards you, but they're not currently taking charge of the situation. This is somebody who does like to control things. This person could have lost a business. They could be a business owner. They could have had a loss with regard to that, or this person maybe married. The Emperor is often married. And if so, they haven't been faithful in that connection. But regardless, this person is making plans to come towards you. And I feel like you don't even have any idea about it. Like this person was toxic. This person was definitely toxic, and you feel they betrayed you, possibly for another person. Let me see. Why is the Devil here? Yeah, they're going to communicate. Four of Swords in the reverse. This is somebody you may not have had much communication with, or none perhaps. This person is going to reach out to you, but be aware that this person is still in some toxic energy. Let's look at your thoughts. I feel like you will talk with this person. You have the Hermit in the reverse, but I also feel like you see this person far more clearly than you did in the past. Yeah, 10 of Pentacles reversed. You feel like there's no stability. There's nothing long-term here. You've accepted a loss with this regard to this connection. It's almost like this person, you feel this person betrayed you. You finally came to the acceptance that, because I feel like you kind of receded into yourself for a long time, and you finally are saying, you know what, this is a loss. There's no loyalty here. There's no commitment here. And there's no long-term solution to this. This person was controlling. This person was very toxic. And so, yeah, I can talk to them, but, you know, it's not going anywhere because this person doesn't have the ability to go from A all the way to Z. They get lost somewhere in the shuffle. So it's like you don't have any expectation of them, but you're not like shutting them down either. But you definitely feel that you see them clearly. So let me look at, you're also worried about finances and money though. The answers will come to you. So let me see March. Show me March for Libra. Show me March for Libra. Show me March for Libra. All right. We have the 7 of Wands, 5 of Wands, the High Priestess, 2 of Swords, 10 of Wands, Page of Pentacles, 7 of Cups, Queen of Wands reversed. There's the Devil. That's underlying energy. 10 of Cups reversed and the 8 of Coins. All right. So I see you going into the month of March and you're experiencing a lot of anxiety. It's almost like, Libra, you feel like your back is up against the wall, like you're having to fight for everything and you're kind of keeping it to yourself. You're not really, you know, telling everybody about it. You're trying to make decisions. You're a little bit indecisive and you just feel like you're overwhelmed. You're just like, you got everything in the world on top of you. And I see that. I see you having some financial issues. I see you, you know, this person coming back into your life. So it's like your life is not exactly where you want it to be. You feel like you're having to fight for everything that you get. In the first week, you could have some conflict with somebody. Could be a Scorpio, doesn't have to be. I do feel like there's some conflict that you're having. There's internal conflict, there's external conflict, and I feel like you're a little bit defensive with regard to this. That being said, you are going to lean into your intuition. I don't feel like you're discussing this with anybody, but I see both internal and external conflict. I do feel like you're leaning into your intuition in order to make decisions about whatever this situation is. In the second week of March, I do feel like there's some sort of a problem that comes to a head and you need to communicate or do something about that. It does look like for some of you it has to do with your money. Your money is coming in far slower than you thought it would, or you don't get as much money as you thought you were going to. And so decisions have to be made. And in the second week, I see you preoccupied with making those decisions and feeling a bit overwhelmed. You could also be, you could also receive a text from somebody, most likely this person from your past. And you find that a bit problematic or overwhelming. Like, and so you're trying to decide, should you respond back? Should you just, let it go? Ultimately, by the middle of the month, you're just feeling overwhelmed here. And I do feel like you're looking for decisions. So going into the third week, you're kind of slowing down. You're not taking any action. You're looking at options. Particularly with regard to money or with regard to contact with somebody that previously has not taken much action. Could have been an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or Capricorn. Doesn't have to be though. There is some confusion. There is a sense of you not really knowing what to do. We see some communication, but there's a sense here of I'm not sure what to do, looking at different options, trying to figure out, especially with regard to this person, are they toxic? Are they still toxic? What is the deal here? I do feel like you feel a sense of deep attraction to this person from the past. I feel like this is somebody who, caused a lot of confusion in your life. I feel like this is somebody that, I feel like this is somebody that you gave unconditional love to as well. So we see in the third week, there's a sense of confusion as to what you should or shouldn't do. And I do feel that in the fourth week, you are more or less saying, look, I'm not going to do anything towards this person because they're still toxic. There's a lot of toxic energy that's here. You're not happy about this. And you go back to, you know, I need to end this cycle. I need to end this and put work into myself. I need to focus on my money. I need to focus on, you know, the details. Why am I unhappy with this person? Why do I feel like this person is toxic? So you begin to get the clarity that you need as you look at the details of this connection, of this relationship. It also shows me that you begin to get the answers that you're looking for with regard to, you know, money and finances. Some of you guys are under a spiritual attack, it looks like, by, you know, in the month of March. But I do feel like there is a lot of unhappiness, but that cycle is ending. And we see you very clearly working on, you know, the details of that, looking at things, you know, putting the work in, putting the effort in. So I do feel that, you know, your money is going to increase. I feel that there will be a little bit better sense of independence by the end of March, but it's gonna take a toll on you in March getting there. So let me show, yeah, bottom of the deck is that Nine of Swords again. So, you know, try to find your peace. Try not to lean into anything toxic because that will make you unhappy. And just know that this too shall pass. Let's look at your energy. All right, why is the Star card here? Why is the Star card here? Yeah, there it is. Okay, that's good. I'm glad to see that. All right, so we have the Lovers, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and we have the Six of Pentacles. So you're healing. You're showing up here as finding your balance, you know, creating a sense of emotional calm, a sense of emotional balance. You have choices with regard to love. These are big choices, and some of you could be choosing between more than one person. However, I feel like you're not going to be forced into any kind of a choice. You're healing. You're very hopeful. You're focusing on, you know, your independence, your money, and that's balancing out. By the end of the month, you're going to feel far more independent, far more balanced financially, but I also feel like you're going to, you know, be single yet extremely independent, with choices with regard to love. And you're being angelically led here, Libra. So while all these outside circumstances are like pushing you, and you feel like your back's up against the wall, you're finding the internal peace that you need here. You're finding the balance, and it's going to manifest itself in your financial life as well. And you're also showing up here as being somebody who's very generous. Let me see the energy coming towards Libra. Show me the energy coming towards Libra in March. All right, so we have the Four of Wands, we have the Eight of Wands reversed, and we have the Six of Swords. All right, so the energy coming towards you could, like I said, be another air sign. If so, this person may be already in another commitment, some sort of a solid commitment, and they realize that this is blocking this connection. It's blocking the energy between you and them. And I do feel like this is somebody who wants to take action. They want to move the connection between you and them to a more peaceful place. There's an acknowledgement that there is something here with this Four of Wands that has created chaos in this situation and has literally blocked the peace in the connection. So I do see that for some of you. For others of you, I do see somebody who is trying to move towards you. Could even be the same person. This person could live at a distance. We saw this over here as well. And the distance between the two of you could be a blockage in the connection. For some reason, whoever this is that's moving towards you, they feel blocked. They feel blocked either by other commitments or stability or something to do here with distance. This person feels blocked. They want to know, you know, and they see you in your power. They see you celebrating your successes. So I feel like somehow something is keeping a blockage between you and this person, but they're looking at, you know, they're wanting to move it to a better place, but they feel blocked in doing so, which is very strange. You know, I can't explain why they don't just like turn this around. That would be the communication designed to create change. And that would then take it to a better place, but they could be keeping things to themselves. They could be, you know, making excuses as to why the connection's not going to work out. But they literally are actually blocking this themselves, which is sad. All right, let me see Spirit's advice for Libra. Show me Spirit's advice. All right, so we have the Three of Wands, we have the Seven of Pentacles reversed, and we have the Queen of Cups. All right, so Spirit is saying, hey, I see you've gone through a lot. I see you've had losses here. I see you feel like you've been abandoned or rejected in the past. But wait, because love is coming in. And look, we have this Ace of Cups in the reverse here. Spirit is saying, I know you're impatient for this to resolve. I know you've been through a lot. However, love is coming here and you will be the one making the choice. You've been waiting. You've been going through all of this, but that wait is over. There is love that is coming towards you. Keep your heart open. Be sure that you're focusing on the things that you love and your ships will come in. So, you know, I'm a Libra as well. So you know, this seems like a really tough reading, but let's face it, a lot of us Libras are really going through a lot right now. And so, you know, I feel like that advice is actually very accurate. So let me see your outcome. Show me the outcome for Libra. Okay, we have the Empress reversed. We have the Two of Cups. And we have the Queen of Swords reversed. Interesting, because the Queen of Swords is the energy coming towards you. We find in the outcome it's in the reverse. So this person that is coming towards you could be a soulmate, but there may have been a lot of problems. This person is going to reach out to you. They don't know if you are open to talking to them or not. This is somebody who has not been honest with you in the past. It created a lot of problems. This person also may have been not communicating with you. I see this person reaching out, but honestly, Libra, I feel like you're not really receptive to them because you have this Empress in the reverse, which tells me that you're not nurturing this connection. You have feelings towards this person, but you also are not nurturing it. You at one point were very... you were very nurturing and loving and kind, but you've kind of pulled that back. You've kind of pulled that back because of the problems that exist in the connection. And you may be feeling like this person, even though they're reaching out to you, even though you know that they do have feelings and love for you, and you do for them as well, even though you may even say, yes, they're my soulmate, you also are saying, yeah, but look at all the chaos you brought in my life. You weren't honest. You were argumentative. You know, you cut me out. You cut me out. And I felt that pain. I waited for, you know, you to come back in. So, no, I'm not going to just rush in here and give you all my heart. So, there is still a need here for you to focus on yourself, to focus on your self-esteem, to make sure you're not in a poverty mindset. To be sure that you're being honest with yourself. So, you know, I do feel like you will accomplish that because we see a lot of healing happening here in March. But with regard to this person who has shown up again at the end of the month, I do feel like you've had a lot of problems with this person, and I feel like you are no longer accepting anybody who's not going to put in the same amount of work that you are. And I don't feel like you trust that person. So, and I can understand why. They literally are blocking themselves. So, bottom of the deck, we have the 9 of Wands in the reverse, or I'm sorry, in the upright. And so that does tell me as an underlying energy that while you do have love coming in, I feel like this person from the past, if they can get out of their own way, wants to have a new beginning with you. But I also feel like you've got new love coming in. It may not happen by the end of March, but I feel like it's going to happen when you're working on other things, because we see here with the 9 of Wands that you're having a hard time seeing it. You're having a hard time trusting it. And there's some things that you still need to overcome in order for that love to come into your life. So, you know, focus on the details, look at yourself, work, you know, on the things that, you know, are making you unhappy, and don't focus on this other person because they can't get out of their own way to save their lives. And when you do that, that's when you're going to, that love is going to come in. And I feel like it's going to be quite unexpected. So let me pull an oracle card, pulling for Libra. Yeah, so just hang in there, Libra. I know this seems like it's a lot, but I feel like a lot of Libras are going through a lot. All right, so you have number 1, the richness within. So let's read that. Each of us has worlds within us, ideas that swirl and dance, thoughts of depth and beauty, feelings about events in our lives and in the life of the world, which often are never born into the world that lies beyond the border of the self. There are feelings deemed too strong, too sad, too difficult for others to hear. We don't want to be rejected or thought ill of, so we keep so much within. It is within our private moments that we can explore these ideas, let them free, and see what can become of them. This card is your sign to give some of the beautiful wealth of ideas and thoughts, all the words and feelings unspoken, their freedom at last. For with you now is a safe place akin to this place where a kitsune, in the form of a girl, allows her own creative deep thoughts their release. And as they tumble about in their newfound freedom, she will find that they have purpose and value, meaning and life beyond that of her mind. Likewise, you too, seeker, will now find a safe place to release, expand, share, and wonder out loud. You will permit yourself to open up and feel out loud. And although there will be sadness, and there will be feelings that so many others avoid, it is time for you to allow these feelings their moment to grow outside of yourself. Everything that you've held within is no longer taboo, no longer forbidden. It is a part of the rich path of our humanity. And you're encouraged now to find a safe space, a safe friend, a nourishing place and environment to speak the many wonders that lie within you into the world. And in so doing, you will enrich it beyond measure. All right. I hope that this has been helpful for you, Libra. If you have resonated with this reading, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hype the video if you get the opportunity. And until I see you in your next reading, Libra, know that you are loved, and namaste.